Representing your national team in basketball is one of the most cherished and most well-respected honors an athlete can achieve in most parts of the world. The Eurobasket tournament rivals that of the FIBA World Cup and Olympic basketball tournament with the amount of NBA and EuroLeague talent decorating the court. Even the best and most filthy rich European NBA players routinely will give large chunks of their offseason to their national team, often for pennies on the dollar compared to what they are making in the league. Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, unless genuinely injured, will play nearly every summer with their countrymen. But the same is not true elsewhere around the world. The AmeriCup tournament, which is held just as often as the Eurobasket, draws far less name-brand talent. If you had to guess which country wins the AmeriCup every year, you would probably say the United States, but they have only come out on top a single time over the past 6 tournaments dating back to 2007. Even Canada, with their famous nearly all-NBA roster at this past Olympics, have not placed within the top 2 of the AmeriCup since 1999. And though the tides don't seem to be changing here, the Caribbean is making a move in the right direction. Last summer was an exciting one for the Bahamas, a small island country of only a little more than 400,000 people. NBA players have long been vacationing on the island, but more were starting to train there, and those of Bahamian descent began discussing representing their national team as they quietly vied for an Olympic berth. Bahamas, unsurprisingly, have never made an Olympics in basketball. In fact, they had only ever qualified for the AmeriCup a single time. As a result, many thought this was an unrealistic dream, but over time, more players began committing to play. You could argue this started with Buddy Hield, who was born on the island and only moved to the US late in high school. He routinely was their only NBA representative showing up, first competing way back in June of 2018 during one of their very few qualification windows that didn't take place during the pro season. Brilliant scheduling there, FIBA. But with just Hield playing in just a third of their games, they were not able to qualify for the last AmeriCup tournament. But during the summer of 2023, they finally landed their second NBA commitment with DeAndre Ayton, who was also born and lived on the island for most of his childhood. They also landed a valuable naturalized player and former Team USA member Eric Gordon, as he decided to don a Bahamas jersey for the first time, thanks to his mother being from the country. With this trio, along with the surprisingly good play from point guard Laurels Nairn, who was a college basketball assistant coach and not even playing the sport anymore, the Bahamas were able to win the 2023 pre-Olympic qualifying tournament, taking down South America's basketball powerhouse Argentina in the process. This meant they'd be getting their shot in the summer of 2024 to snag one of the Olympic wildcard spots. The improbable was now possible. That is why last summer was an exciting one. More high-quality players of Bahamian descent were reaching out to train or compete with the national team. Klay Thompson made headlines as he was spotted training with the squad, even donning a Bahamas practice jersey and stating that he would love to one day join the team. Expected 2025 NBA lottery pick VJ Edgecombe also committed to compete with the senior national team, as like Hield and Ayton, he was born and raised on the island, only moving stateside in high school. They filled out the roster with plenty of D1 and lower European League talent as they set off to make history. And though they started off hot, winning their first 3 games against Finland, Poland, and Lebanon, they ultimately fell short in the final match to the tournament's host, Spain, losing by only 8 points. It was an epic battle to behold, and the Bahamian players should be very proud of themselves for getting as far as they did. But very few national teams can defeat the Spaniards on their own home soil. The fact that this ragtag bunch of teenagers and guys in their mid-30s were able to come together and give them such a good fight was an accomplishment in and of itself. But this story is not over for the Bahamas. Though this summer's AmeriCup tournament involves some stupid round-robin tournament that took place during the pro season, the Bahamians were able to finish second in their group and qualify without any NBA players thanks to a canceled match between Cuba and Puerto Rico. Regardless of the outcome of that game, if Cuba had been allowed into the US territory, one of those 2 teams would have gotten the Bahamas spot. But fate granted them a miracle. We will see the Bahamas this summer in the AmeriCup, and there is a good possibility that this team will feature NBA quality talent as they fight for their first ever continental medal. But they are not alone in the Caribbean. In recent months, surely inspired by what the Bahamas have accomplished, another small island nation is making waves as they round up any NBA player of their descent to come compete. This being Jamaica. With a much larger population of over 2.8 million people, it is actually really surprising we have not seen them make noise on the international basketball scene earlier. Their most famous player was Roy Hibbert, and he only ever competed in a single, now defunct Central Basket tournament way back in 2010, which they failed to medal in. Last month, up-and-coming NBA twin brothers Amin and Asar Thompson both announced their intention to represent Jamaica in basketball. These two would no doubt ignite their team. But it is important to note that they were born and raised in the United States. It is their father that is Jamaican. As was the case with Eric Gordon, this means the Thompson twins would need to become naturalized citizens. Per FIBA rules, only one naturalized player is permitted per team. This being done obviously to prevent countries from just buying the best NBA players to deck out their team. This means though they want to play, they most likely will never share the court at the same time. This holds true with a slew of other NBA players of Jamaican descent recently being tied to their national team. Scotty Barnes, Devin Vassell, Isaiah Stewart, Norman Powell, and Josh Minott reportedly are interested in playing with the Jamaican national team, but only one of this lot is allowed at a time. But there is one other Jamaican-born player in the NBA who could team up with one of these guys to battle on their national team. This being Nick Richards, who was born and raised on the island before moving stateside while in high school. Him playing the 5 alongside an explosive scorer could be enough to pull off some upsets in FIBA competitions. Though the reality is not as glamorous as headlines may lead you to hope, Jamaica basketball being talked about by NBA players is a trend in the right direction. They are not qualified to compete in this summer's AmeriCup tournament, unfortunately, so it may be a while before we see this theoretical Jamaican team, but it does appear to be in the horizon. Basketball in the Caribbean is rising in popularity. The Bahamas are a real threat. Jamaica may be on the rise. Puerto Rico has been competing at the highest levels for decades. The Dominican Republic routinely puts up a good fight. And even the US Virgin Islands regularly field a squad of D1 players. I think the future of the AmeriCup is sure to improve, and this summer's tournament hopefully will be a step in the right direction. Thank you guys for watching the video all the way up until the end. Let me know your thoughts on the future of the Bahamian or Jamaican national teams down below. I'm always keeping tabs on FIBA, and I'm going to try my best to bring you guys more content like this all summer long leading up to the continental tournaments, which I will surely be previewing and giving you guys my predictions for. Please do me a big favor and like the video if you have not already. It really does help me out more than I think you realize, and subscribe for more basketball related content. I will see you all next time.